Okay, to me, this is logical fallacy 101. He said we weren't ready for a black president, and someone, I can't remember who, maybe she remembers.
Bill Maher just blasted Michelle Obama's recent claims about America and how it needs to grow up. Let's get into it.
Michelle Obama, she has a book out, a coffee table book.
Yeah.
What?
No, I like her. I mean,
I know,
she
I
said
like-
no, though. She said she.
Well, that's what I wanted. I
She
mean,
said she didn't think the country was ready for her.
Well, that's what we have to talk about. I mean, her statement, I was rather shocked by it.
Yeah.
She said, as we saw in the past election, sadly, we ain't ready. Okay, to me, this is logical fallacy 101.
These were Michelle's exact words.
As we saw in this past election, sadly, we ain't ready.
To me, this is logical fallacy 101. Just because we weren't ready or didn't like the candidates, Hillary and Kamala, doesn't mean we're not ready for a woman. Maybe. That's why I'm like, don't even look at me about running.
That's why I'm like, don't even look at me about running, because you all are lying. You're not ready for a woman. You are not. So don't waste my time. You know, we got a lot of growing up to do. And there's still, sadly, a lot of men who do not feel like they can be led by a woman, and we saw it.
I think it's a bad attitude. I do. I mean, we said we weren't ready for a black president, and someone, I can't remember who, maybe she remembers, said maybe it just has to be the right one.
Maybe, but it's much easier to just accuse America of being racist and sexist. Because once they do that, they don't have to take responsibility for their actions. And Bill Maher is once again just saying what everyone else is too scared to admit, let alone admit out loud. And I'm not even a Bill Maher fan, but sometimes the man just blurts out the obvious truth, and what most Democrats simply refuse to acknowledge. And on this topic, he happens to be absolutely right, because the idea that America isn't ready for a female president just seems like a lazy excuse to neglect reality. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say America isn't ready for a female president, but America definitely isn't ready for a bad one. And I feel like that little distinction matters, no matter how many Democrats pretend it doesn't. Because the truth is, voters don't reject candidates based on their gender. They reject candidates based off their record, their attitude, their policies, and their character. That's why Hillary lost. That's why Kamala lost. And that's why Michelle Obama won't even think about running. Let's not forget, Hillary Clinton literally won the popular vote, meaning that she got the most individual votes from U.S. citizens in 2016. So that alone clearly shows that America was perfectly willing to elect a woman. And Kamala, she had every advantage possible. She was literally placed as the Democratic nominee without ever having to run in the primaries. Not to mention, she had the media drooling over her, Hollywood worshiping her, corporations were elevating her as some kind of iconic first. And on top of all of that, she spent the last 4 years in the White House, showing America exactly why she wasn't the right choice. She literally laughed her way through interviews, avoided answering critical questions, and delivered word salad speeches that went viral for all the wrong reasons. The reality is, when people saw Kamala, they didn't see the trailblazer they were painting her out to be. They saw someone who was completely out of their depth. And when election day came, the choice was easy. But the Democrats don't want to talk about that. No, they don't want to talk about merit, performance, or results. They don't believe in that kind of stuff. They believe in equity and inclusion. They believe Kamala should have won because she was, quote unquote, the first black woman who would have done so. It's always about race, gender, and identity politics with them. And anyone who disagrees is automatically labeled as sexist, racist, or whatever the trending buzzword is for the week. The left would never accept the fact that maybe, just maybe, their candidates just aren't likable or effective. They can't admit that because that requires accountability and humility, something their party lacks tremendously. So yeah, Bill Maher is absolutely right to call out this nonsense. Michelle Obama's comments aren't profound. They're excuses. Hillary's loss didn't prove sexism. Kamala's loss didn't prove racism. They just proved that voters deserve better than what the Democratic Party is willing to offer. And I'm sorry, but after years and years of listening to Michelle Obama complain about her life, accuse Americans of being racist, and paint herself as a victim in a country that's treated her like royalty, she has, in my opinion, become one of the most unlikable public figures we've seen in years.